Sadie's Incredible Essay, written by Rose Byock, illustrated by Lucky Savino. Focus question: what does Sadie learn about writing research papers? Sadie was kicking herself. She'd missed 6 days of school for a family reunion. School had always been easy for Sadie, so she left her makeup work until the night before she went back. Who wants to do schoolwork on vacation anyway? Sadie thought. Sadie looked through the first few pages of her homework packet. This is a piece of cake, she determined. An hour later, she was fast asleep with her papers and books strewn around her as if a tornado had hit. Back in class on Monday morning, it was business as usual. A lot had happened during the week she was gone, but it wasn't a big deal. She never really struggled to keep up. Then, at the end of the day, Mr. King announced, "Don't forget about your research papers, which are due at the end of this week." Sadie's eyes grew wide. What research paper? On Monday night, Sadie found the information about the paper at the bottom of her makeup stack. The assignment was to write about an important person from her town. This should be easy, she declared. The direction included a section on how to find, evaluate, and cite sources. She had written research papers before, but the teachers always provided the sources. This was the first time she had to find information entirely on her own. Sadie skimmed the instructions about researching. She had earned an almost perfect grade on her other research paper without much effort, so why would this be any different? Sadie pulled out her tablet. The limited information available about her small town narrowed her choices, but one name caught her eye: Catherine Hawker. Hawker had started Sweet Cards Bakery in the 1950s, and it soon became the most popular bakery in the area. Eventually, Hawker opened a factory and sold her goods all over the country. She was elected mayor for 2 terms, then ran for a 3rd term and lost. Just when it seemed as though Sweet Cards treats were more popular than ever, Hawker shocked everyone by closing down. Sadie found signs that claimed Hawker closed her business because some customers became sick from her treats. Another sign described how she was upset after losing her election bid. Sadie read everything she could about Hawker, taking careful notes and citing her sources. By the end of the night, she had a rough outline. Sadie found that she earned some time to play Casey Candy Swap on a tablet before bed. The rest of the week flew by, and Sadie turned in her essay on time. The following Wednesday, Mr. King handed the papers back at the end of the day. Excited, Sadie scanned for her grade. Instead, a note written in Nat stood out: "Please see me after class." As Sadie looked back through the essay, she noticed circle, note, and other marks. She had never felt an assignment before, but she put just as much work into this paper as usual. Her chest felt tight, and she had to blink away tears. When everyone else had left, Sadie sheepishly approached Mr. King's desk. She felt as though she was walking the plank on a pirate ship. "You wanted to see me," she mumbled. "Yes," Mr. began. "I have some concerns about your paper. Do you read the assignments of information about research?" "I did, well, sort of," she admitted. Mr. King nodded. "I suspected as much. Your essay itself is well written, and your citations are formatted correctly. However, much of your information comes from unreliable sources. You also plagiarized in a few places. Do you know what that means?" Sadie shook her head. "It means you copied information word for word without putting it in quotes. Plagiarizing is like stealing," Mr. King explained. "I didn't mean to steal anything," Sadie stamped. "I know. Let's go through the notes on your essay together." Mr. King flipped the first page of her paper. You did well at the beginning, he affirmed. See, here, your information came from the local history musical site. Museums are great places to get credible information. I'm glad I did something right, Sadie thought, jotting the note down in her book. On the museum page about Helker, the writer had cited her own sources. That means you could check the information in these sources, such as the letter Helker wrote. You can also see who the writer is. A quick search shows she's written 2 books on local history, which helps prove that she is credible. I found the same information on few other sites, Sadie picked up. Mr. King explained how Sadie needed to confirm information from multiple sources, but that those sources also needed to be credible. After that, he brought up the local mystery site, which was her source for the story about kids getting sick from Keller's baked goods. Mr. King asked Sadie to evaluate the site as a source. There's no information about who wrote it, Sadie summarized. It doesn't cite any sources.